according to Wood Brothers Gaming, NASCAR Heat 4 has improved physics and graphics. So we're going to talk a little bit about it and what I think so far. I don't know how, I wouldn't call it hardcore evidence or proof of anything, but apparently these guys got to play NASCAR Heat 4, at least in whatever stage it is in development. And they didn't reveal a lot, but somebody asked them a couple of questions on Twitter. And first they talked about the physics. They said that the physics were heavily improved. There's a couple of things there that are kind of questionable. Like they said that it was tough just getting out of the pits, that it's that much more difficult to drive. I'm not sure if that's good or bad. I guess it's more realistic. It's hard to really know. They didn't get into details more than what they just revealed. But at least it shows that 704 is actually working on the gameplay mechanics and things that are already part of the game, because it's one thing to add more stuff to the game, which it does need, but you still have to address the issues that are already there, in terms of the structure of this game. So it's good to hear that they're working on physics. I know a lot of people had that on the top of their list as far as things that they need to work on. So it does sound good. But I am a little bit concerned to just hear that, it's like a lot more difficult to drive and that couldn't even get out of the pits. That was one of the comments. I really don't understand that comment. That could mean a lot of things. I don't know. If the game is a lot harder to drive in terms of the physics, it's that much more important that the AI is also improved, because if they don't improve the AI and you have a car that's a lot harder to drive, then just imagine trying to get through the field of cars of this AI that doesn't spread out, that has very little sense of awareness. They'll dive bomb and you leave them just a couple of inches down by the apron, they'll dive bomb in there and just smash you out of the way. That's not going to be good. If your car is harder to handle, right, even though it's more realistic, that doesn't necessarily equal a better gameplay experience, right? So you got to be careful with these things as far as being a developer. You want to make sure everything works well together. So yes, having better physics, it's great. But if the AI is not addressed, that's going to be a problem. And the game may actually be less enjoyable than it already is because of that. So just throwing that out there. I don't want, I'm excited and everything about what I'm hearing, but it's I gotta believe that they're working on the AI as well, because the other thing that they just talked about, not in depth again, but a little bit, they said that the graphics were clearly improved, that they noticed a lot more track detail. I don't know what that means. Do they actually mean the track surface or the whole track, everything, the whole environment? So this is all good stuff. You want to hear this stuff, that the graphics are improved, the physics, but we don't have anything really concrete to go by. It's just, whoever these guys are, Wood Brothers Gaming, I don't know much about them, but it's just a couple of comments they made. So it's positive stuff, it's good stuff, but you got to take it with a grain of salt. This is the fourth game in the series. I am expecting a lot more at this point, and they should really polish up the stuff that's already in the game, because you can't just keep releasing these games and then there's still the same problems from the previous game. You got to really step up your game. So I hope that's what they're doing, and it does sound like they are. And I have to believe, if they did work on the graphics, and if they did work on the physics, Why wouldn't they work on things like the AI and even maybe the sound, right? To me, all of these things go hand in hand in terms of gameplay, right? All of this stuff is related to the actual gameplay, racing, right? So that's really important, and I have to assume that they did work on these other things. They haven't really talked about it, maybe because nobody asked them about it. I don't know. They talked a little bit about the physics and the graphics, and maybe somebody will ask them about the AI and the sound of the game. It sounds to me though like if they saw something significant there, they probably would have threw that out there as well. Maybe, I don't know. This isn't a lot of information, so but it's early and we haven't heard anything from 704, so we're gonna speculate. That's what we do. But it is exciting. I'm glad to hear some of these things are being addressed, and hopefully it's all for a positive, right? Because there is a chance that you play this game, and if you know we don't know what better physics means to 704, right? Their interpretation may be something we don't expect, or it might be different from what you might expect. We've seen games in the past where developers, they'll make a car like a lot slipperier, harder to handle, like maybe feel like they're on ice, and then they like, okay, that's more realistic, and it's not. I'm not saying that's what's happening, but when I hear somebody say, I couldn't even get out of the pits, I don't know what that means. And also, getting out of the pits, we don't really have control of that. Unless he means once you leave the pit road area and you cross the line and you have control of your car again, that must mean what they meant by that statement. Because he would have probably said, yeah, and you can control your car in the pits. I'm not expecting that, so that has to be it. When the car is finally, when you get control of the car again as you leave the pits and you cross the line and you can start accelerating and you have control of the car, that must be where he probably tried to leave on full throttle and the car spun out. That's what I'm thinking. So, yeah, if you got to be more, careful about how you drive these cars, that's a good thing. That adds more challenge. But got to get that AI right. To me, the AI is still the most important part of the actual gameplay, the racing. Yes, physics are important, but how the AI races you as the player, that is what makes or breaks the experience. So I hope they really are putting time into these things, as well as adding the things they need to add. How much can they do? I don't even know how big this company is. We've all assumed they're a small company. Maybe they're not as small as we think they are. Maybe they've hired extra help. We don't know these things. They don't really reveal a lot. So all I can do personally is just hope that, this all sounds positive, that it really continues to go in that direction. So, man, maybe by the end of this month we'll hear something. It is, it's early, but it's not that early. When you think about the release of these games, it's not that far away. And for some reason, NASCAR games, they always wait a long time before revealing information. So we'll see what happens. And like I said, hopefully by the end of this month, 704 really starts talking about the game and starts revealing where we are headed with this franchise. So that's all we really know right now. And yeah, how much can we really take this stuff seriously? I don't know. But apparently these guys are legit. It's not just some random guy on Twitter. These guys, they're part of esports, I think. And, so it is what it is. It sounds good. What do you guys think? I look forward to your comments.